Welcome to News Karnataka's Speech Salad 2023. Now, Speech Salad 2023 is a concept that we developed late last year. This idea was inspired, as I said, by Toastmasters International, but it is focused on an Indian theme that is close to all our hearts, Republic Day, are very young. And since this Republic Day was first celebrated in 1950, it is probably a long time before you were born. So what does it mean to you today, living in India today as a youngster, as a member of the Z or Z generation? And how does it impact your lives? Does it have any meaning at all? That is what we thought we'll ask you, but not ask you in the format of an interview, but ask you to speak from your heart about it. And that's how this concept was born. And we know that you're coming from all parts of India. We wanted it to be so. We wanted it to be in more than one language, because India is a diverse country with a lot of ethnicity, a lot of cultural divides, a lot of divides and diversity, and also linguistic diversity. But the feelings for the motherland obviously are very strong, and they are the same. So how do you express them? That was the idea behind Speech Salad 23, brought to you by News Karnataka. Now, the competition, obviously it's a competition, but winning is not the only issue here. What we want from you is for you to learn and grow in your public speaking career, because communication is what makes leaders, and leaders is what India needs, especially from the youth. We have two very distinguished judges, and I say distinguished because they have a lot of experience in public speaking at various forums, but a lot of it in Toastmasters International. I'll come to Dr. Malini Hebbar first. Dr. Malini Hebbar, as you can see on the screen, is a veteran teacher, a distinguished Toastmaster, a public speaker par excellence, an author, a much-in-demand certified trainer, a much-in-demand MC, and of course, a judge for all sorts of competitions, from dramatics to dance to speech making. Her creative output is in the fields of dance and dramatics, as she has organized many cultural programs for NGOs and other institutions. In fact, whenever Toastmasters has any event, it is Dr. Malini to whom we run to. She's that good. She also is very passionate about not wasting food. Of course, tonight we are not going to serve you any, so you won't have the opportunity. But she is also passionate about not wasting food. She has her own YouTube channel on the concept of wealth from waste. She is much awarded. There are plenty. Malini is the principal of Swastika College and guest faculty at St. Agnes Center for PG Studies and Research. She was a former associate professor and HOD of English at St. Agnes UG and PG. But we are much rewarded by her presence today as a judge. Now, the second judge, Ms. Samina Naik, is also a veteran Toastmaster. In fact, I'm not sure how many of you know, but the highest award or highest, let's say, degree, like you call the PhD in other educational streams or in the academics, it's PhD, but in public speaking, in Toastmasters International, it's called the Distinguished Toastmaster. Both Dr. Malini and Ms. Samina Naik are DTMs. She's a veteran Toastmaster, a distinguished one, and a French lecturer. So but unfortunately, none of you are speaking French today. I know two of you are going to speak in Hindi, but she's also a teenage and marriage counselor, alternate healer, NLP practitioner, and a Toastmaster for the last 26 years. In fact, it is her family that actually inducted me into the program of Toastmasters, and I'm grateful for that. Now, as you know, Republic Day marks the adoption of India's constitution and the country's transition to a republic on January 26, 1950. What does it mean to you? That's the topic today. And we have 5 contestants tonight. The first is going to be Kajal Shah, Santosh, Kushi, Sandra, and Charlie. Now we'll dive straight into the program. Kajal, आप किधर से है?
जी सर, मैं कोलकाता से हूँ।
कोलकाता से। आप क्या कर रहे हैं आप?
सर अभी मैं 11वीं कक्षा की विद्यार्थी हूँ और साथ ही साथ मुझे कविता लेखन, भाषण लेखन और पत्रकारिता में बहुत ही ज्यादा रुचि है और मैं इन सभी पर अभी से अपना प्रयास कर रही हूँ।
ठीक है। और इस कॉन्टेस्ट में आपको किधर इंफॉर्मेशन मिला इस कॉन्टेस्ट को
सर
पार्टिसिपेट करने के लिए?
सर जैसे कि सर मैं ना हर जगह से ढूंढते रहती हूँ कि मुझे कहीं से स्पीच कंपटीशन के बारे में पता चले, तो सर ये मुझे फेसबुक के माध्यम से सर ये मुझे पता चला इस कंपटीशन के बारे में।
ओके, वेरी गुड। और आप प्रैक्टिस किया क्या वीडियो रिकॉर्ड करने के पहले?
हाँ जी सर, जैसे कि सर जब मैंने बहुत कुछ कुछ गलतियां हो रही थी बार बार, तो
हम्म।
करते करते फिर हाँ सर मैंने प्रयास किया है, इसके बारे में मैंने कोशिश की है जानकारी इकट्ठा करने की।
ओके, आप कुछ या टोस्ट मास्टर्स या कुछ सुना है क्या टोस्ट मास्टर्स के बारे में?
जी नहीं सर।
ठीक है, आपका स्पीच हम सुन लेंगे और बाद में विल गेट यू सम फीडबैक।
भारत माता सबसे प्यारी सबसे ऊंची तेरी शान है। गणतंत्र दिवस पे शीश झुकाकर हम सभी करते तुझे सदा प्रणाम है। आप सभी को मेरा सादर प्रणाम। मैं काजल शाह, मैं कोलकाता खन्ना हाई स्कूल फॉर गर्ल्स में 11वीं कक्षा की विद्यार्थी हूँ और आज मैं आप सभी के समक्ष अपनी एक भाषण लेके आई हूँ। मेरे भाषण का शीर्षक है गणतंत्र दिवस मेरे लिए क्या मायने रखता है। 26 जनवरी प्रतिवर्ष बड़े जोरों शोरों से ढोलकों की आवाज, पैर के थिरकने की आवाज, देशभक्ति की लहर, अपने मातृभूमि के प्रति प्रेम और अपने राष्ट्रीय पर्व को बड़े गौरव से मनाने का जोश। हम प्रतिवर्ष 26 जनवरी को प्रतिवर्ष बड़ी खुशी से उल्लास से गणतंत्र दिवस को मनाते हैं और गर्व करते हैं हम भारत के निवासी हैं। क्या है गणतंत्र? गणतंत्र कहने का तात्पर्य है जनता के लिए जनता द्वारा शासन, और हम लोग गर्व से कह सकते हैं कि हमारा भारत देश गणतांत्रिक देश है। आज ऐसा नहीं है कि राजा का बेटा ही राजा बने, वो लायक हो या ना लायक। पहले के समय में राजा का बेटा ही राजा बनता था, वो लायक हो या ना लायक। लेकिन आज हमारे भारत देश में ये कतई नहीं है, क्योंकि आज हमारे भारत देश में विश्व का सबसे बड़ा संविधान बाबा भीमराव अंबेडकर जी ने रचा, जिसके कारण आज हमारे भारत देश में आज हम अपने मतों से सरकार चुन सकते हैं, सरकार गिरा सकते हैं। इसीलिए आज हमारे भारत देश में राजतंत्र का अंत हुआ है और गणतंत्र का आरंभ हुआ है। साथ ही साथ हमारे जितने भी महान व्यक्ति, डॉक्टर भीमराव अंबेडकर जी, सर्वपल्ली राधाकृष्ण जी, जवाहरलाल नेहरू जी, बहुत सारे महान लोगों ने हमारे भारत देश को गणतांत्रिक रूप देने में उनका अहम भूमिका है। मैं उन सभी को सदा सत प्रणाम करती हूँ। आज हमारा भारत देश सबसे बड़ा गणतांत्रिक देश और लोकतांत्रिक देश है, क्योंकि हमारे भारत देश में सबसे बड़ा संविधान है। अगर हम बात करें गणतांत्रिक, आज हम गणतांत्रिक देश में जी रहे हैं। आज भी मन बहुत चिंतित होता है कि हम गणतंत्र दिवस मना तो लेते हैं, लेकिन फिर भी हम जात पात में अंतर करते हैं, फिर भी आज हम वर्ण भेद करते हैं। क्या ये सही है क्या? जी बिल्कुल नहीं। अगर हमें अपने देश को तरक्की की ओर ले जाना है तो इन चीजों को मिटाना होगा। आज भी हमारे भारत देश में कई कानून मनुष्य नहीं मानते हैं। इससे क्या होगा? इससे आप गणतांत्रिक देश का अवहेलना कर रहे हैं। तो हमें यह समझना होगा, अगर देश को कल्याण करना है, अगर देश को हमें विकसित राह पे ले जाना है, तो गणतंत्र का हमें सही अर्थ समझना होगा। आज गर्व होता है कि हम गणतंत्र देश में गणतांत्रिक दिवस में जीवन यापन कर रहे हैं, जहां पे योग्य अनुसार हम सरकार चुन सकते हैं, किसी के दबाव में नहीं, हम मतों से सरकार चुन सकते हैं। लेकिन आज मन फिर चिंतित होता है, क्योंकि आज हमारे भारत देश में भ्रष्टाचार है। आज हमारे भारत देश में कई जगह ऐसे होता है कि मतों में भेदभाव के कारण बहुत गलत तरीके से हम किसी गलत सरकार को जिता देते हैं। जो हमें ये समझना होगा कि हमें ऐसा कतई नहीं करना है। गणतंत्र कहने का अर्थ ही है कि जनता के लिए जनता द्वारा शासन। अगर वो शासन सही होगा तो देश कल्याण करेगा, नहीं तो वो देश तिरस्कार करेगा। प्रश्न अब आपका है, उत्तर भी आपको ही देना है। क्या करना है आपको? हम प्रतिवर्ष 26 जनवरी को मना तो लेते हैं, एक दिन का ये त्योहार नहीं है, 365 दिनों का ये त्योहार है। जब हम सारे नियमों को मानेंगे, सारे नियमों को मानकर अपने जीवन को सुंदर बनाएंगे, तभी हम एक अच्छे नागरिक और एक अच्छे भारतीय कहला पाएंगे। तो चलते हैं ना, चलते हैं, कुछ बातों को सीखते हैं, खुद में परिवर्तन लाते हैं और गणतंत्र दिवस को बड़े धूमधाम से मनाते हैं। आप सभी के समक्ष मेरी छोटी सी भाषण प्रस्तुति, आप सभी ने सुना, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
Thank you very much, Kajal Shah, for that very inspiring speech. But it was an inspiring speech. But let's just first ask Ms. Samina Naik. Her views on the feedback will be. Please do listen carefully, and I'm sure you'll understand it.
अच्छा जी, नमस्ते काजल शाह। बहुत अच्छा लगा मुझे आज आपका स्पीच। आपका शारीरिक हाव भाव तो बहुत ही अच्छा था। आप बोल रहे थे और हाथ भी सब हिला रहे थे। अच्छा लगा, क्योंकि जो सुनते हैं उनको भी अच्छा लगता है कि आप बहुत कोशिश किया है, आपने प्रिपेयर किया है शायद बहुत खूब ज्यादा, और बहुत अच्छा शुरुआत किया पहले आपने, जैसे आपने गाना जैसे गाया, पोएम बताया, बहुत अच्छा लगा। तो जोश और उमंग से आप बोली, मुझे ऐसे लगा। और इतनी छोटी है, और आपने मतलब जो प्रॉब्लम है इंडिया में उसकी भी सलाह दे दिया कि पॉलिटिशियंस को ठीक से हमारा देश चलाना है। तो शायद ये यूट्यूब पर डालेंगे तो वो सुनेंगे, तो एक दिन आप बहुत ऊंचे पहाड़ पर जाएंगे। तो आज बहुत अच्छा लगा, शुक्रिया।
Dr. Malini.
Kajal, how old are you?
I'm 16.
16. Okay, not at a major, but you spoke with such maturity that I consider you above 18. Very well done. As Samina ma'am has said, in public speaking, 3 V's are very important. We call it visual, vocal, verbal. So visual is to take care of your body language, which you took care of to the maximum extent. It is not at all easy when the speech is recorded to have that kind of body language, but still you had effective body language even within the framework of the recorded speech. Now, when it comes to vocal variety, I must say that you had vocal variety of very high caliber. And as Samina ma'am said at the beginning, you also had a kind of a touch of humor, I must say, at the beginning when you started with the speech. And when it comes to verbal, although I can't speak in Hindi, I can definitely understand every word of Hindi. And I can also differentiate between Hindi that is of good standard and Hindi that is colloquial. So I must say that even when it comes to the third V, that is verbal, you touched the chord of excellence. So congratulations on all that. If at all I have to give you a suggestion for further improvement, there are 2 things that I noticed. One is that at 3 points, you looked at your script because maybe you're worried that you would forget your lines. So your eyes dropped and you looked at your script. Now, if you could avoid it, completely in contact with the audience from the beginning till the end, the impact would be even greater. Right now, it's a great speech, so don't worry. But I'm just telling you that in the future, if you compete again, just make sure that at no point of time your eyes would drop towards your script. The second thing is that I felt maybe the facial expressions sometimes seem to be a little repetitive. So if you could go with the script of your speech and make your facial expressions match what you say, that would take your speech to a greater height. Having said this, Kajal, it doesn't mean that your speech was not excellent. It was excellent. However, you can keep these 2 points in mind for the next attempt. All right. Hearty congratulations on a well-crafted, well-delivered speech.
Okay, thank you very much, Kajal. Stay on the show because you can listen to other speeches. You can also learn from them. Next on the next up is Santosh. I understand he has his own business. So you can tell us something about yourself, Santosh, so that other people will understand from where you're coming when you speak.
Myself, Santosh Kumar. I have written IAS examination 3 mains. I have written 1 interview. I have met. So same time, this year also I wrote a mains examination. So I am into sports like MMA, UFC, then kickboxing, boxing. I represented 2011 nationals. At the age of 18, I was a gold medalist in powerlifting. So now I am practicing into boxing. In that, I am working in Adani Group also. I have my own business, construction. So I take care of everything.
And you get some time to practice your speeches also?
This speech I recorded 5 minutes before. I got a message, one of the IAS Institute has sent me.
Okay.
So some speech is there, you can go through. So I recorded in 10 minutes, I sent it. So I teach public administration and Indian governance, ethics and integrity, one of the institutes. Delhi and Hyderabad.
So this is a subject close to your heart.
I am specialized into public administration and Indian administration. And 2019 and 2014, I have worked for one of the biggest policymaker in India.
How does that work? I mean, can you tell us a little more about
as a policy strategist?
Oh, I see. Okay.
In an election process.
Oh, okay. For a political party.
Yeah, general elections.
Oh, okay, great. And I think that's what that's the in thing nowadays. I think being a political strategist.
Yeah. Even some years before, I have written 1 + 1 = 2. It's mathematically.
Yeah.
1 + 1 = 11 administratively. It has been used by Narendra Modi.
Okay.
1 + 1 = 11.
Wonderful. So let's listen to what Republic Day means to Santosh. Let's play his video and then we will get back to our judges.
Namaste. What does Republic Day mean to me? Myself, Santosh Kumar. It was on this day in 1950 that this sacred essence of us assumed a formal shape. That day, India was celebrated as the largest democratic republic, and we the people put into effect a constitution that is inspired document of our collective vision. The diversity and vibrancy of our democracy is appreciated worldwide. It is the spirit of unity and being one nation which is celebrated every year as a Republic Day. While the text of the Constitution dealing with the details of the workings of the state is quite long, the preamble sums up the guiding principles: democracy, justice, liberty, equality and fraternity. They form the bedrock on which our republic stands. They are the values that forms our collective inheritance. The Constitution of India was enacted and adopted by the Constituent Assembly on 26 November 1949, which was now celebrated as a Constitution Day. But it was made effective 2 months later. This was done to mark the day in 1930 when India resolved to win complete freedom. In 1930 to 1947, every year 26 January was celebrated as a Purna Swaraj Day, and that was a day chosen to put the constitution into the force. Writings in 1930, Mahatma Gandhi had advised fellow citizens how Purna Swaraj Day was to be celebrated. He said, and I quote, "Remember that since we desire to attain our end by non-violent and truthful means only, we can do so only through self-purification. We should therefore devote the day to doing such constructive work as it lies in our power to do." Needless to say, Gandhiji's advice is timeless. Gandhiji's advice is timeless. He would have liked us to work to celebrate the Republic Day in the same manner. He wanted us to look inside, introspect, and strive to become a better human beings, and then also to look outside and join hands with others and contribute towards the making of better world and a better India. Patriotism strengthens the sense of duty among the citizens. Whether you are a doctor or a lawyer, a shopkeeper or an office worker, a sanitation employee or a laborer, doing one's duty well and efficiently is foremost and the first contribution you make to the nation. Once again, doing one's duty well, efficiently, effectively is the first and foremost contribution you make to the nation. Jai Hind. Happy Republic Day 2023.
Yeah, well said, Santosh. Well said, absolutely well said. Unless we do our duty, the nation cannot grow. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But on the content of, not so much on the content, but on your delivery style and all the other facets of your presentation, let me first ask Dr. Malini Hebbar to give her views and feedback. And please do listen carefully because it can help you improve.
Santosh is the same in your language and in our language. So I must say, Tumba Santosh Aitu in Kannada after having listened to your speech. Because from the introduction that distinguished Toastmaster Brian Fernandez gave of you, I came to know that you are a learned man and you proved it in your speech. It was a highly learned speech, full of deep content, profound content. And you also had interesting words, bedrock of principles enacted and adapted the rhyme scheme that you followed. So I immensely enjoyed your speech, the content, as well as the delivery part of your speech. Now, every time Brian has repeatedly told all of you that this experience must also shape you into better speakers or ignite in you the desire to do even better. That is why I deem it my duty to come up with suggestions as well. That is why I'm trying to give you a few suggestions as well. Now, first of all, since it is a speech contest, the body language becomes very important. So the minute you sit down and speak, it falls into the mold of a lecture. So it becomes as though somebody is lecturing to a body of people, which could have been avoided if you had stood up and spoken. Probably there would have been more vibrancy if you were to do that. And when you say, I quote, I like the way you quoted. Let me, before I give you any suggestion for improvement, let me say that I like the way you quoted. It was almost as though we heard the Mahatma himself, all right? But when you say, I quote, and when you give the quotation, at the end, you must also say, I unquote. Okay? So when you say, I quote, and when you come to the quotation, you must also say, I unquote. So if you don't say, I unquote, we can't make out where you come to your own opinion after the quotation. So that is only a suggestion for your future practices of speech or deliveries of speech. But I must tell you that, in speech, in addition to those 3 V's that I mentioned earlier, there is one more V, which we call vitals. Now, what we mean by vitals is when the speaker comes up with something that is very close to his heart. And I must say that whatever you said today was very close to your heart. And that is why vitals is what I could see in your speech. And when that vitals is present, other visual and all that will go to the secondary position. So let me congratulate you on your very meaningful speech.
Yes, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Malini, and for that feedback. And I'm sure Santosh has listened to every word carefully and will imbibe it in his speeches, maybe even Speech Salad 24 when we come back next year. Ms. Samina Nayak, can you give your feedback, please?
Thank you, Santosh, for that wonderful speech.
Yeah.
If anyone doesn't know about what Republic Day means, I think they can listen to your well-rehearsed and presented speech.
Thank you.
Your eye contact was adequate. Your movement was fair. Perhaps you were restricted by sitting on the chair, and I'm sure you would have done much better if you had stood and moved around the stage.
Yeah.
But maybe it was difficult for you to record doing that.
Yeah.
Yes, so that is okay. A little more spreading of the arms, and since you cannot move on the stage, you have to use your arms more efficiently, more vibrantly to convey all your messages. And sort of thump a bit, or just you can go up also, you can go on the side also. So that has to be practiced in front of a mirror.
Okay.
How can you give your message more effectively? Your message was doing one's duty effectively and efficiently. That was your center point of your speech. That is what I gathered. And I agree with Dr. Malini when she said, if you spoke less like a teacher, because I am a teacher, I know in the beginning, I was always told you're in teacher mode. You're still speaking in teacher mode and not, trying to convince the audience about your views. And for that, you really have to use every part of your body and your voice to convey the message. And so if you spoke like that, you would be like a speaker who's eager to convey your beliefs and your messages to the audience. And that is what you're here for. Republic Day is, for most people, just sitting in front of the TV and watching the parade. But do not really know what was behind the struggle to become a republic. And if you can convey that with a few changes in your speech, you would make a wonderful, wonderful speaker.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Santosh, for joining us tonight and sharing your speech with us, sharing your knowledge, your wisdom, and giving such a good speech about the background of Republic Day. In fact, I was just thinking when the subject came up, Independence Day in 1947 is something that we all celebrate. We wave flags and everything. But if each one of us were independent in our own right, and if we didn't have the Constitution on Republic Day, then there would be chaos. So it's the Republic Day that actually makes us a nation and not just independence. I think that is the key message that I found from what I've done research on. But anyway, that's beside the point. Let us now get into the next speaker. The next speaker is Khushi Naveen. Welcome to the show, Khushi Naveen.
Thank you, sir. Good evening.
You are a student, I gather.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, where are you a student at?
College of Fisheries, Mangaluru.
Oh, you're in Mangalore at College of Fisheries.
Yes,
so, what are you studying there actually?
Bachelor in Fisheries Science.
So you're in the first year, second year, third year, which year?
First year, second sem.
First year, second sem. Okay, you're finding it interesting?
Yes, sir.
Why did you choose fisheries? I know it's not a subject for this conversation, but I'm just interested to know.
Okay, sir. Like I had interest in the field of biology.
Okay.
First I opted medical, but due to few marks difference, I was not able to get the seat.
Mhm.
So next, I had interest in joining the fisheries. So somewhat life saving of, though it's a human or animal, it's same. So I wanted to be join this fisheries.
Great. What you love public speaking? Do you take part in college events?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Since what age have you been doing your public
My
speaking?
mom has encouraged me in participating in every event since I was in childhood. Even from LKG, she didn't leave me without participating in anything. So I don't have any fear of stage or anything. So not a matter of price, but I like to participate in everything.
Okay, and we'll hear from you what Republic Day means to you, because you're from the younger generation. Some of us, the judges and myself, we are from the older generation. So we would love to hear what the young people think about Republic Day and what it means in their lives. Because today, on Republic Day, there is no flag waving except at the parade ground. So Independence Day, everybody waves the flag, but on Republic Day, nobody does. Sometimes it just passes off. So each one of us must remember that Republic Day is a day when India was really born as a nation. So let me hear your views.
Good morning, everyone. A happy 74th Republic Day. The topic of today's speech is, what does Republic Day mean to me? According to me, this Republic Day is a new beginning. The world is full of different people. Different people means different thinking and different perspectives. What if we had no freedom of thinking and speech? Yes, it's the constitution that grants us liberty. The Constitution of India came into act on January 26, 1950. Every year, this day is celebrated as Republic Day with zeal. Parades are carried out by armed forces at Rajpath, New Delhi. Before the president and civilians are honored, it's a national holiday. According to me, Republic Day is not just a national holiday, but a day to show our gratitude towards the Constitution and its makers. Today, whatever rights we are having are all because of it, and no one can take away our rights from us. And if someone does, we have right to approach the judiciary. Though the Constitution grants us lots of freedom and rights, yet we are not contributing our part to it. We speak about our rights, but what about our duties? Just because Constitution is not a human, it cannot turn its back upon us. On this Republic Day, it's not our duty only to watch the parade and salute the national flag for sake of doing it, but to abide by the Constitution and in order to make the India Republic in a true sense. We should be alert about our fundamental rights and as well as duties. Making India Republic was not an easy task. It was all because of the struggles and sacrifices of the people which made us free from slave, finally to a freedom republic citizen. Why not to celebrate this day like a new year with a new innovative ideas? Yes, we should take resolution of following at least one fundamental duty and protect each other's rights from being violating. So you be the change you want to see. Long years ago, we made a tryst with the destiny, and now the time comes when we shall redeem our pledge. At the strike of midnight hours, when the world sleeps, India will awake for life and freedom. A beautiful quote quoted by Jawaharlal Nehru. You want to know how beautiful our India is? Punjab for fighting, Bengal for writing, Andhra Pradesh for duty, Kashmir for beauty, Karnataka for silk, Haryana for milk, Tamil Nadu for grains, Kerala for brains, Orissa for temples, Bihar for minerals, Gujarat for peace, Assam for tea, Rajasthan for history, Maharashtra for mango. It's a nation. We call it Incredible India. A happy Republic Day. Thank you.
That was the diversity well explained, Kushi. Diversity of India, absolutely well explained. Even I didn't know some of the associations that you mentioned, and I'm glad to know them now. Very well said about Republic Day and what it means to you and to all of us. But
Thank you, sir.
here we are also not only the content, but we're also looking at the delivery, the preparation, and so on. Just one question before we go to the judges, Kushi. Where did you record this video?
This was recorded. My father, friend, sir, he was a dance teacher. He had a mic system with him, so it according to rules, it was said that ambient air should be avoided and should be recorded in a well. So I went to the studio.
Great, great. Okay, and you practiced a lot?
No, sir. I'll be having college till 5:30 in the evening, and morning we should leave at the 6. So within wait time, I get little bit have practice.
Okay. So let me just go to Dr. Malini Hebbar first for you, and let us listen to her feedback.
Kushi, coincidentally, after Santosh, we have Kushi. Both names mean the same. That is to have a lot of joy, a lot of happiness. So I must say that my happiness of listening to good speakers continues with your speech as well.
Thank you.
And I must say, even before I go to your speech, I liked what you said. Even before your speech was presented, your eco-friendliness in saying animals or humans, we must have the same treatment meted out to all, and your respect for your mother, who has molded you to be a speaker, molded you into being many things by encouraging you. All those things were very heartwarming to listen to. And most importantly, you also said you participate. Prize doesn't matter, but you participate for the joy of participating. So that was very nice. Now, coming to your speech, in every speech, we say that there is something called primacy effect and recency effect. People say that the listeners will remember what you say right at the beginning and right at the end. It remains. And that is why I felt that your speech had that recency effect. Suddenly, when you came up with a kind of summation of what incredible India is, it was very effective and it would stay with us for a long time. So I would like to particularly commend you on the structure of your speech, where you made your conclusion attractive. Now, when it comes to suggestions for improvement, because you had the mic in your hand, it stopped you from using your hands. And it's very important to use your hands, even when it comes to TED speakers. Research has shown that even among TED speakers, the ones who had more gestures using their hands. Okay, when we say gestures, needn't be only the hand. Body language needn't be only the hand. But the ones who had gestures with their hands were more effective, more popular than the rest. So next time, when you record a speech, try to avoid holding on to a mic so that you can use your hands effectively. Now, I also liked what you had in the body of your speech, where you spoke about what it actually means to be an independent nation, a democratic nation. And you also quoted Nehru in an innovative manner. You quoted him and then you came to his name. So that was done innovatively. And you also said that for our problems, it is not enough to think in the usual manner about solutions. We need innovative solutions, you said. With that, you hit the nail on the head, I must say, because when we have problems of the nature that we right now have, we need to be very innovative, and youngsters like you can give us many innovative ideas. Thank you very much, Kushi.
Thank you, ma'am.
And Ms. Samina Naik, can you give Kushi some feedback?
Good evening, Kushi.
Good evening, ma'am.
I liked that you began and ended with the topic of the day, Happy Republic Day. It really brought our focus on the speech, because what you say first and what you say last, as Dr. Malini said, remains in the minds of the audience and reminds them even later on that that is what Kushi spoke about. And that was very good. You have researched your speech very well and you have presented it in a very confident manner. And you gave us the whole gamut of India, in those few words, Kerala something, Karnataka something, but you were restricted by holding the mic. Otherwise, you could have sort of pointed, like when you said Kerala to the south, and Assam to the north, Delhi to the north, to the west, to the east. If you have done that, that is what Dr. Malin says, usage of the arms. Not only moving on the stage because you were not, you were restricted again by holding the mic, but in Toastmasters, as again Dr. Malini said, even a TED speaker who has great fame and name, still when we go back home and say, but he never moved, he never changed his voice, he just gave facts one after the other. Okay, they were very good, they reminded us of a lot of things, but will we remember them? And there were certain sentences in your speech which I am going to remember. I do not have to remember the whole speech. If you can give me 2 sentences in which you're hinging your entire speech on, you know, the door just hangs on 2 or 3 hinges, such a big door. That is enough. You started and ended with those memory tricks as, you know, Happy Republic Day. You gave a solution, you presented the situation which India is in, and you gave a solution. Innovative planning. You know, those 2 words are enough to brighten your speech, to give a suggestion to the audience. Please think of this. I am so young and I have respect for every living being, be it animal or human being. Why can't you have the same respect? That is the message I got. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Dr. Malini and Ms. Samina, and thank you, Kushi, for such a lovely speech. As the judges said, for all the speakers here, what is very important is whether you are speaking through the video medium or whether you're speaking directly to an audience, that emotional connect is the key. So as they said, the door hangs on 3 hinges. You can open and close it on those same 3 hinges. So if you have those 3 hinges which connect to the audience, your audience will buy you. If not, it's very difficult to get the audience to buy into your ideas. Let me leave it at that. Our next speaker is Sandra Ross. And I understand. Good evening, Sandra. Welcome to the show. You've been watching 3 speakers. You're the 4th. Yes, you've been watching 3 speakers, the feedback, and I'm sure you're a little nervous. Are you?
No, sir, it's fine.
It's fine. Great. So what do you do actually? I think you're a student, right?
Yes, sir. Currently, I am pursuing my master's in pharmacy from Ramaya University of Applied Sciences, Bangalore.
Okay.
I'm from Kerala.
Okay. And why did you choose pharmacy?
Because I always had that passion, the passion with the drugs, and my stream is pharmacology. So I will be handling preclinical trials, clinical trials.
Okay.
So it's always very interesting for the drug discovery and all.
Okay. This has nothing to do with Republic Day, but just one question. Any views on the vaccination drive?
Pardon, sir?
Any views on the vaccination, the COVID vaccination? This is out of
my own views.
Yeah, just one line.
Okay, the thing is that as Indians, we are very proud because India, we had brought the drug like the vaccine, and India is having the largest number of people who got vaccinated also. And by grace of God, almost we are in a protected manner. And as a health profession, we are also working on that to protect the society.
Great. That was a question that was not connected to the subject on hand, but since you are from the background and since it's a topic that everybody is interested in, I asked the question on behalf of everybody else. But let's listen to what you have to say about the Republic Day and what it means to you, especially to the younger generation. I'm sure someday or the other, our leaders also will listen to this speech and learn from it. So let's play it.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I wish you a very happy Republic Day. As a child, I have always been taught to sing the song of patriotism on this day. When I look back those days, I remember that I have always been part of a choir singing Vande Mataram with great zeal and fervor. This is a very important day for all Indians. When a very few fellow Indians speak about the fear of losing the rights the Constitution has given us, this day becomes more important. This day is celebrated as a national festival since our childhood. But we came to know the real importance of this day when we grew up. The Indian Constitution came into effect on January 26, 1950. Indians really worked hard to frame the Constitution. They had went through the Constitution of 60 other countries and have spent 64 lakh rupees. The adventure is that the Constitution was written in the middle of 1940 by fighting against the social, communal and religious bigots and to raise the nation as a secular country. They really worked hard and that struggle ended up in 1947. When India got independence, a new government led by Indians took over. But how could they assure that the upcoming government won't limit the power and rights of the people? This was done by making the nation as a democratic republic. The journey towards the independence was really big. They could have rested and enjoyed the fruits of freedom. But instead, they have taken the painful and laborious task to frame the Indian Constitution. This was done because they had a vision. They had a vision of India where nobody shall be discriminated on the basis of their caste, community or ethnicity. Everybody should have an equal opportunity irrespective of their caste, religion or gender. All should have the freedom of expression, the freedom of education and the freedom of religion. Apart from 7 decades, I could ask you that, are we really from a democratic republic? I could say that I come from India. I come from an India where Dalits, Bahujans and Adivasis are combined to form a populational majority. But they are discriminated and harassed on the base of the caste by the upper class minority. I come from an India which has the longest written Indian constitution. But no true value is given by certain people who are supposed to abide it. I come from an India which has 84 million people suffering from poverty. But the priority of the government treasury is something else. Here comes the real meaning and value of being republic. According to me, republic means that it's a form of government of the people, for the people and by the people. The people has the ultimate power to throw off the government even in the charge of non-performance or corruptions. Let us all come together and take the legacy of India forward, cherishing the constitutional and republic ethics of our country. Moving a huge nation into the path of prosperity and progress, it is indeed a big task. It requires the effort from each one of us. For that, we need to be united. The introduction of Constitution was a clear political stand. The starting and the ending of the Constitution is we, the people of India. It's not Hindu, Muslim, Christian or you. It's we, the people of India. Thank you. Satyameva Jayade.
Yeah, that's a clear message. We, the people of India, we,
Yes, sir.
as a team, we can achieve much more. I think there is that acronym team. So if we are a team, India will definitely grow and prosper. If we are not, then it will be divided and conquered. So the message is very clear, but let me get some feedback from Ms. Samina Nayak first on your speech.
Sandra?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Good evening. What I found was that you looked confident, you acted confident, and you spoke confidently. And I appreciate that. You personalized your speech by putting yourself into the speech. A lot of words were what I felt, what I did, what I would like to do. So that is a great factor in presenting a speech. You can take down a lot of points from Google and just spit it out, but that's not what you did. You have put yourself into this idea of speaking about the Republic and what it means to not only everybody, but to you in particular. And I like that. You brought out the fact that a free India was created to be a democracy. In fact, we are the largest democracy in the entire world. And we are not supposed to discriminate by class, creed, caste, or gender according to the Constitution. But that is only on paper, and a lot of bad things also happen. This is the message I got, and what you can do about it. So you have said that it's not only I. There are many I's. This is what I got. Who is all of us? We may be 1.6 billion people or whatever we are today. But each one of us is one. But we have to work together as a team. And there is no I in team. So that is the message I got. And I am very fascinated by messages you get from a speech. And you have stuck to the time. You have had voice modulation. You had moved your arms. Perhaps you couldn't move on the stage because you were scared of going out of range. That is okay, because this is the first experience. But as you go on, then perhaps you could attend one of our meetings just to see how it goes. You know, it's free. You don't have to pay for it. And you see how a real speaker can develop and one day become a great speaker. And I see the potential in you. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Ms. Samina. Dr. Malini, can we have your feedback?
Thank you, Sandra, for that well-presented speech. And when I say well-presented, I mean it, because when it comes to the content, I must say that you had concrete content. And even as I speak, I'm taking note of my own posture, because I'm about to tell you that you had what we call palm up gesture. Okay. Now, palm down gesture is of this kind, which the audience generally doesn't like, because it is as though we are putting down the audience when we have the palm down gesture. And I noticed that throughout your speech, you had what we call palm up gesture. So I liked it, the way you delivered your speech with that particular palm up gesture, and a very controlled delivery, well-structured speech, delivered in a controlled manner, no histrionics, but delivered in a mature and controlled manner. Now, is there any suggestion for improvement? Probably, I would advise you to make your starting more effective, in the sense, you know, we have what we call attention grabbing method, starting. Now, you had, in fact, very interesting details about the Constitution of India, right? Now, supposing you had just given them as bullet points, all right? And then, do you think any other constitution globally can match our Constitution? If you had come up with that kind of presentation, then it would have been that startling, attention-grabbing presentation. Because you have the potential to do that, I'm asking you to do it. And in continuation of that, I would also like to say that, yes, it was a controlled, mature presentation, but facially, maybe a little more animation is needed. When you talk about, you had very moving content, in fact, when you spoke about what is it that the Constitution claims and what is it that is actually happening in reality. That was the moving part of your speech. So when you have something that is as moving as that, your facial expression should get a little more animated. Okay, from being balanced and mature, you must move out of that to show that you are emotionally involved with what you are saying. And that is possible with the animation of the face. All right. So well done, Sandra. All the best. And Brian, I must congratulate you, because we have the whole of India here, you know, from different parts of India. Out of the 4 contestants, we had a real diversity here, coming from various parts of India and giving to us their views. It is an immensely enjoyable experience. So let me congratulate you on that, and News Karnataka on this novel experiment that you have come up with, and I'm happy to be seated in the judges seat because I'm thoroughly enjoying my experience.
But you'll have to, as Sandra said, you'll have to judge equally.
Yes, of course. I wish I didn't have to judge because this is an experience to be enjoyed. But of course, we have to judge and the show must go on. Yes.
That is true. And after all, they've participated because they wanted to win. But I don't really think all of them actually did that because they just wanted to win. All of them wanted to enjoy the experience. Some of them actually enjoy speaking and putting their views across. Putting your views across in the right way so that the message gets across is what we are trying to promote here, so that the youth can be leaders of tomorrow. That's the aim. I think our last, thank you, Sandra, by the way. And Charlie.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, Charlie Saraswati, can you put your video on, please? Tell us about yourself. Yeah, tell us about yourself.
I'm second year BCom student doing professional course called USCMA. Just now I finished my third sem and I have a holiday. So yesterday night, 11:50, I have sent my video due to some unscheduled exam. We had professional CMA scholarship exam and I was busy, but I truly, genuinely, I will say that I started to prepare from 1st of January only because I got news from 1st of January only. So through 17, 18 days I prepared, but in between due to exam, I could not practice individually. I prepared everything and whenever I get 2-3 minutes in washroom or something called in kitchen, I used to speak myself only. So that's what I prepare. And after all, you can see my video. And before that, I want to introduce myself as I'm a national as well as state level karate student going under the training of Morgan and Ishwar Katil sir. You might have heard Kinigoli. Ishwar Katil sir, he's also a politician. Before he was an karateka. So I also represented my under 14, under 19, under 14 and 19 to state in the national, and last year also represented my Srinivas University in Kurukshetra University, Haryana as this one karate university match. So I am also a winner of a state level twice and also a recipient of Krida Bharti in 2018. Yeah, 2018, I got the Krida Bharti from Bangalore. Now, I'm very much interested in public speaking as well as in debate. First of all, sir, you asked with that Krushi that how she got this information. Even same thing, मेरी हालत, उसकी हालत जो है मेरी भी हालत same है. I am actually in search of many quiz or debate. I'm recently last year I was seeing in Facebook or something like this one National Youth Parliament Festival, and recently this year I got the chance to work in a model youth parliament, which is held in Nehru Yuva Kendra. Yeah, on 26th November in Constitution Day. So I'm lucky to be a participant also in that. And from there only I got this information and was then started keenly to prepare for it.
Wonderful, absolutely wonderful, and thank you for participating.
नमस्कार, मैं चार्ली सरस्वती आपके सामने गणतंत्र दिवस पर कुछ अपने विचार प्रस्तुत करना चाहती हूँ। हम 26 जनवरी 1950 से हर साल गणतंत्र दिवस मनाते हैं क्योंकि उस दिन हमें अंग्रेजों की गुलामी समाप्त होने के बाद गणतंत्र का दर्जा प्राप्त हुआ। 26 जनवरी 1950 में भारत को एक प्रजातांत्रिक गणतंत्र देश घोषित किया गया और लंबे संघर्षों के बाद भारत का संविधान देश में लागू हुआ। 15 अगस्त 1947 में जब भारत आज़ाद हुआ तो उसके 1.5 साल बाद 26 जनवरी 1950 में भारत को एक डेमोक्रेटिक रिपब्लिक देश घोषित किया गया। भारत का इतिहास बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण है क्योंकि उसमें भारतीय सेनानियों के द्वारा लड़े हुए ये आज़ादी है और उसके बाद हमें आज़ाद मिलने के बाद हमारे भारत में संविधान लागू किया गया। संविधान के बारे में मैं कुछ 2 पंक्तियाँ बोलना चाहती हूँ। भारत का ये जो संविधान है हम सब भारतवासी का अभिमान है। भारत का ये जो संविधान है हम सब भारतवासी का अभिमान है। जाति धर्म से उठकर ऊंचा सोचना होगा। संविधान की भाषा मिलकर बोलना होगा। मैं सुधरूंगी तो एक सुधरेगा, सब सुधरेंगे तो देश सुधरेगा। गणतंत्र का अर्थ ये है कि देश में रहने वाले नागरिकों को अपने प्रजानीति और राजनीति के नेता को चुनने का अधिकार। भारतीय नेता और सेनानियों के द्वारा ये आज़ादी मिलने के बाद भारत में संविधान लागू हुआ। भारत में जो संविधान लागू है ये हर एक नागरिक के मूल कर्तव्य और कानून का उल्लेख किया गया है। चलो आज फिर से खुद को जगाते हैं, चलो आज फिर से खुद को जगाते हैं, संविधान के डंडा फिर से उठाते हैं। सुनहरा गणतंत्र के शहीदों से लहू है, चलो उन शहीदों को फिर से आज नमन करते हैं। भारत में विविधता में एकता है और इसको प्रदर्शन करने के लिए विविध राज्यों द्वारा हमारे एक राष्ट्रपति के द्वारा हम अपने संस्कृति को उनके सामने प्रस्तुत करते हैं। हमारे राष्ट्रपति जी वीरों को पुरस्कार देते हैं, उसके बाद सम्मान के साथ हमारे ध्वज को फहराते हैं। उसके बावजूद भी हमारे देश में बहुत सारे ऐसे चुनौतियां हैं जो हम उनको सॉल्व नहीं कर पाते, जैसे कि भ्रष्टाचार, अशिक्षा, गंदगी, आतंकवादी इत्यादि। ऐसे सब बहुत सारे जो चुनौती हैं जो हम उसको समाधान नहीं ढूंढ पाते। हम हर साल गणतंत्र दिवस पर और स्वातंत्र दिवस पर भाषण सुनते आते हैं कि ये समस्या है, वो समस्या है, लेकिन उसका समाधान उसको कैसे हल किया जाए वो नहीं सुन पाते हैं। इसको सब दूर करने के लिए हमें आज की जो व्यवस्था है उसको बदलना चाहिए। हर एक युवाओं को आगे आकर इस समस्या का ढल निकालकर उसको समस्या को दूर करना चाहिए। भ्रष्टाचार सब समस्या का एक जड़ है। अगर हम भ्रष्टाचार को हटा दिए जाएं तो सारी समस्या अपने आप समाप्त हो जाएगी। अभी मैं उस प्रश्नों पर आती हूँ कि गणतंत्र दिवस मेरे लिए क्या मायने हैं। जब मैं छोटी थी तब गणतंत्र दिवस एक मेरे लिए छुट्टी का दिन था। जब उससे कुछ बड़ी हुई तब टीचर ने अटेंडेंस कंपलसरी कर हमको गणतंत्र दिवस को बुलाया करते थे। अब जब थोड़ी और बड़ी हुई तो गणतंत्र दिवस पर हमें उस दिन मुझे मालूम हुआ कि फंडामेंटल राइट्स हमारा क्या है। लेकिन आज मुझे गणतंत्र दिवस पर फंडामेंटल राइट के साथ साथ फंडामेंटल ड्यूटी के बारे में पता चला है। गणतंत्र यानी स्वातंत्र यानी स्वतंत्रता बाहर जाना, स्वतंत्रता दूसरे से मिलना या स्वतंत्रता खाने पीने में मेरे लिए उससे बढ़कर भी है, क्योंकि हमारे देश में वीरों ने अपने प्राण त्याग कर हमें आज़ादी मिलाई। अब ये हमारी बारी है कि हम इसके आज़ादी को कैसे बरकरार रखें और देश में संविधान का जो लागू किया गया उसका पालन करें। पालन ही नहीं, उसको दूसरे को भी हम बोले कि ऐसा वे भी पालन करें, यानी हम तो करें भी दूसरे को भी करवाएं। सो मेरे लिए गणतंत्र दिवस बहुत ही मायने रखता है, क्योंकि हम युवक हैं और आज ही हम युवक हैं, कल हम उनके नेता, आज देश के आने वाले देश में हम नेता भी बन सकते हैं। इसीलिए मैं सभी युवकों से ये प्रार्थना करना चाहूँगी कि आप आगे आइए और हमारे देश को उन्नति की ओर ले जाइए। अपने वाणी को मैं विराम देते हुए मैं चार्ली सरस्वती अपने वाणी को विराम देती हूँ। जय हिंद, जय भारत, जय श्री राम।
Yeah, thank you, Charlie. Sure, she can get the feedback. And there's one thing I wanted to mention before. She made one very important point. The point was that Republic Day is a holiday, but when we are in school and college, we are given compulsory duty in school and college. So it's just like, you know, the fundamental rights and the fundamental duties. I think it depicts it rather well. But let me just go to Ms. Samina Nayak for her comments first, please.
So my suggestion first would be, you can be enthusiastic in giving a speech, but you have to remember that the speech is given to an audience and you have to give them time to absorb what you want to say. And it is said that every 7th word that one hears is lost. So sometimes you may have to repeat what you say to embed it in the audience. So I would like her to slow down a bit when she's giving her speeches. I love that she gave these personal anecdotes, because every speech should have yourself in the speech, not just matter gathered from internet or Google or whatever, or somebody else has written the speech for you, but what you have experienced of being and living in a republic. And she presented it very clearly. She said as she grew up, she didn't like going for these Republic Day celebrations in the school because she thought of it as a pain, right? But as she grew up, she learned that since we have been given rights, we also have the duty to give in return. So what I would have liked her to do was give a quote or two to emphasize this. Like it's written in the Bible, do unto others as you would have others do unto you. Give and receive. So if she had given these 2 or 3 sort of quotes and then hinged her speech on that, that would have had a greater impact. I really admire her enthusiasm I admire sort of real excitement in participating in a competition. And here I would like to say that I absolutely appreciate every one of you mentioned somewhere or the other in your speech that participation is the key to improving in your life. Winning is important, but participation also is important. It really doesn't matter who won in the end, but if you are satisfied that you have given of your best, that is really between you and you. Winner shows who has given the best. That is up to the judges. But you should go back to your home feeling that it's okay, that somebody else, she was better than me or he was better than me today. But tomorrow, I am going to be better. And you have to learn the lesson. I think we have learned a lot of lessons from the 5 speakers we heard today. Even though I have so much experience in speaking, I have still learned lessons today. And I thank each and every speaker today for coming forward in spite of all their difficulties and speaking to us. And I hope, Brian, you will continue this scheme of yours to give more opportunity to everybody who wants to speak out and give innovative ideas of how we can improve as an Indian, not as a Keralite, not as a Karnatakan, but as an Indian. And I really appreciate you for that. And I think we have to give you a big hand.
Thank you. Before I conclude the show, we'd like to hear Dr. Malini Hebbar also on Charlie's speech.
So I'm trying to imagine Charlie Saraswati in front of me even as I speak, and I will address her, imagining her in front of me. So Charlie Saraswati, I must tell you that, as Samina ma'am said, your enthusiasm is your strength. Emerson once said that nothing is possible without enthusiasm, and you have shown that everything is possible with enthusiasm. And my reference is even to your achievements. That has nothing to do with your speech, but even your achievements in life, they are awe-inspiring. So congratulations on all that you have achieved. You are still, I don't know how old you are. I don't think you have even reached 20, but you have already achieved so much in your life. It makes us wonder what is in store for you. I'm sure that there are great things in store for you. All the best for that for that also. Now, coming to your speech, I liked the way you took what we talk, when we talk about body language, we talk about movements, everything, but we also talk about appearance. Now, you have taken care to see that you are in green and orange for a speech on Republic Day. Even small gestures of this kind, small plans of action of this kind can contribute to a very great extent to the success of your speech, because the visual appearance also adds a lot to the overall impact of the speech. And in your speech, you also had what we say, call for action. In the terminology of public speaking, we say call for action. So you had that call for action in the concluding part of your speech when you said that the youth of India will have to come forward to see that things are set right. Yes, you were right in that thought, because most of us only criticize, but we don't act on what needs to be acted upon. So your call for action was immensely appreciated. Now, coming to suggestions for improvement, I must say that Samina ma'am has already told you about the speed that needs to come down. But I would like to draw your attention to your gestures again. You had plenty of gestures, interesting gestures, but at times, even in speech, we have something called staccato effect. Tuck, 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 tuck. Even in gestures, that can happen if gestures become a little repetitive. So study your own speech and see whether you can change your gestures here and there according to the content of your speech. If you can do it, it will make your speech very effective. So I request you to do that. Having said that, Charlie Saraswati, let me tell you that once again, this is the last speech for the evening. And I must say that we enjoyed from the first till the last every speech, because every speech stood out as different from the other speeches. Each one of you had unique things to say, and you said it in a very interesting manner. So thank you very much for that. One point which I've put down, but which I forgot to tell you, when you record yourself, see that you don't go out of the frame. Now, then you were out of the frame. So when you go out of the frame, the impact is lost. So take care when you videograph yourself that you're always inside the frame. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Malini. And just in my concluding remarks, I would like to say that, we are all used to Zoom meetings during the COVID period. And most of the Zoom meetings are we are sitting down and speaking just like I'm doing right now. But when you make a speech, to the public, it's preferable that you stand. So at least that's why in the rules we made that waist up and your hands can be seen is what we wanted you to do. So that the gestures that you make, the vocal variety that you display, everything comes across. Now from my personal life, I would like to say that both Dr. Malini and Ms. Samaina Nayak have evaluated me at speeches and Toastmasters, and I have learned a lot. So please don't feel in any way disheartened if they have criticized anything, but it's only so that you can focus on those areas and improve. That's how I've improved. I'm not still the best, but still I have yet to improve, and I look forward to any evaluation so that I can improve. We have to compete with ourselves if we want to get ahead in life. We can't compete with others because each one of us is unique. You saw today there were 5 speakers, each one spoke differently, different speeds, different vocal variety, different language strengths, different everything. But we can compete with ourselves on the points that we think we can improve upon and work hard on them and get better. I would like to thank each and every one of you for being on the show. And I hope that since you are on this team, you know that the chief guest for this year's Republic Day.
Thanks for giving me an opportunity. There are 3 cascades. We as a contestants, as a judges, as a host.
Yeah.
So to Guru, I will say you one. I feel like telling, Google cannot replace Guru.
Correct.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. For a host, he is like a manager carrying a truckload of an elephant. He is a small tortoise carrying a truckload of an elephant. He is a small tortoise carrying a truckload of an elephant. I am giving you.
But I only hope
for a contestant.
Okay,
for a contestant like us, how competitive we are competitive in this competitive world. To compete. I like to it, nothing will work unless we work.
Absolutely.
These all are my words. I quote myself some days.
Oh, that's absolutely wonderful. Absolutely.
I quote.
No, that's great because some of these ideas that you have, if you put them out in the public, then others can learn from them. That is the thing. And very important. And great to have all of you here. As I said, I was just asking a question to everybody, like who's this year's Republic Day guest? Every year we have a foreign leader as a guest. And
I know. I have looked it up.
Okay. It's
President of Egypt, Abdel Fattah al-Sisi.
Yeah. He'll be this year's guest at our Republic Day parade. And the latest I hear is that VIPs will not be sitting in the front seat. It's the common man. And that is the strength of our constitution. We the people. So on that wonderful note, I would like to thank our judges, thank our participants for being on the show. It has been so wonderful to see the diversity of India, both in language, in delivery, in thought process. I think each one of you had a different thought process. Most of you are in the younger age groups, so the thought process will by and large be the same, but since you come from different parts of the country, there will be differences. So I thank each one of you for coming and sharing your thoughts with us. And this participation will make you a better person. The results, of course, will be announced when it's premiered. The judges will pass on the results to me, and then I'll add them on to the last show, which is tomorrow. We'll record the last show tomorrow. And after that, it will be aired on the 26th, 25th, and 26th. We'll let you know on the Thank you all for participating. I think it's been a rather long show. We wanted it to be around 40 minutes, but I think it's gone on. But it was very, very interesting. Honestly, I'm telling you, it went beyond my expectations. So thank you very much. So see you again someday, somewhere. But until then, to all of you, goodbye.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.